Hey guys, this is Matt with Comax Gaming, and welcome to another SourceMod tutorial. In this lesson, I was gonna teach you guys something like displaying an HUD if you're pointing at a client, but I think that like extending this plugin that we've created like, I don't know, 2 weeks ago, I believe. But instead of doing this, I'm gonna actually do entity handling, like more entity wise, like creating a prop or setting the color, the render effects, killing a prop, stuff like that. So yeah, let me remove this code. If you think that this is a good idea to explain more about entities, adding that code, then leave a comment and I might do that next week. So yeah, I'm gonna remove this code, so BRB. Okay, so first of all, you can include SDK tools to handle entities, because all the functions that are related with entities need this include. Once you got that in there, then you wanna we're gonna start with a simple remove entity command. So we're gonna do reg console cmd, and if you notice me typing like really weird or missing some characters or anything like that, it's because one of my fingers is like fucked up. I cut my finger at the workshop. That's cool. So yeah. Anyways, yeah. Whatever. So the name of the CMD is gonna be sm underscore kill entity, I guess. You can name it whatever you want it. Remove entity, kill, whatever. The callback is going to be command remove ent, and that's going to be done. So I don't know if we should remove this. Yeah, it's useless. Okay, so public action. We're gonna copy and paste this because I really don't feel like typing. And we're gonna say as always client and the args. Great. Now that we have this, I'm gonna add the return just because I don't know, it's easier for me. Plugin handled, and okay, so here we want to check, like we want to know what the player is actually targeting. We want to know what he's doing. So we're gonna do get client aim target, and it says client and boolean only clients equals true. It says true to exclude all entities but clients. So yeah, of course we want that to true, and it's set to true by default. So yeah. It says -1 if no entity has been aimed at, -2 if the function is not supported. So yeah. So we actually want to type client and nothing else here. But here we want to type new ent equals. Why? Because the entity index is going to be returned by this. Let me see if I can get that again. Get client aim target. Whoops. Aim entity. Yeah, entity index being aimed at. So that's going to be the return of this function. We're going to get the entity index. So yeah. Once we get that, we want to know, want to say if ent and doesn't equal -1. We're not going to check for -2 because I think all the mods support get client aim. So if ent does not equal -1, because that's something that we're not aiming at, and is valid entity, and want to know the entity index, which is ent. I'm gonna explain this in a second. Is valid entity is gonna check if the entity is actually, I think, C base group entity, a C base group. C base group is a class in the SourceMod engine which has all the entities, I believe, or most likely all the entities that you can change the values of, I believe. I'm not sure about that, but yeah, that's gonna check for that, and if it's gonna return false or -1. I don't know if it's false. So it's gonna say if this is an invalid entity, okay, then we're gonna go here, and also if this doesn't equal -1. So we're gonna say else. I want to reply to command client. I want to say please aim at a entity, because most likely this is gonna happen if you're actually staring at the floor or at a brush that's not an entity. So yeah. In here we want to say if it's bullet entity end. Okay, we're gonna check if the entity that they're aiming at is actually a prop, because we only want to modify props. So we're gonna say new string class name. And if you don't know, every entity in the source engine has a class name predefined. You can actually modify that value if you want to, but it comes with it already, and it's the name of the entity itself. So yeah. So now we're gonna get edit class name. It says it retrieves an edit class name, which means it's gonna get the entity class name. The edit, it's gonna be the index. So end, since we're getting the end here with the get client aim, so I get the class name is gonna be the buffer. So we're gonna say class name, and the max length is gonna be 32. And now we want to say if string contains, because we want to check if the string contains, actually not if it equals, because we want to include all the props that exist. There's not only one prop. Like there's prop underscore physics, prop multiplayer override, prop static prop, whatever. There's a bunch of props. So the string is gonna be blah 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 class name, and now it says strings of string. This is gonna be prop underscore, and it's gonna be case sensitive. Whatever, it doesn't matter, since all the entities are handled like, yeah, not case sensitive. What I'm saying here is check if this string that we're getting right here, the class name of this entity index, contains the word or the string prop underscore. And here we want to say does not equal -1. So if this doesn't equal -1, it's going to equal -1 only if it's an error, so it doesn't equal that or it contains that. So yeah. If this happens, I want to say reply to command. We're going to copy and paste this. Whoops. We wanna say you're not aiming at a prop, and so if we get the prop, then we wanna say okay. We want to do accept entity input. Accept entity input. It invokes a named input method on an entity. What this means, it's gonna actually send an input to the entity. It's gonna force the entity to accept this input that you are sending. Sort of like, if you know scripting, that this is gonna be like add output or kill or start or stop. All those inputs, you're gonna be sending those with this function. So the destiny or destination is gonna be the entity index. So end, and the string is gonna be kill, because we don't want it. Like, yeah. And you can also send the activator, the caller, and the output ID. But we're not gonna send any of those because we don't need those. We don't need that at all. Okay, so this is gonna work. I'm guessing, and that's how to remove an entity. Now we're gonna change the color of the entity. We're gonna copy and paste, and we're gonna say command color entity, and we want to do the same stuff, right? Want to check if it equals a prop, and if it equals a props, then we want a prop. My bad. We're gonna say set entity. As you can see here, you have a lot of functions. You have set entity gravity, health, model, move type, render color, render effects, and render mode. So we're gonna go with render color since we want that. I might do another tutorial about entities next week because there's a lot of stuff to talk about entities. There's like a bunch of stuff. I want to cover creating entities. I want to cover entity properties. That's more like kind of more in depth because it's kind of hard, you know. So the entity is gonna be end, and I think it takes RGBA. The entity is gonna be end, and the color is gonna be. Actually, you know, we're gonna get that. We're gonna get that in a string. So I'm gonna actually call this buffer 0. That's not created yet, so don't freak out. I'm gonna explain this in a second. Please. Okay. As you can see, I've created 3 buffers here. One actually get an argument. So we're gonna say if args is less than 1, then we wanna reply to there. Please enter a color, RGBA. I want to return here. Want to return plugin handled. Okay, so what I'm gonna say here is, okay, if the arguments, if he didn't type a color, then we want to get the color, like we want him to type or her. Actually, there's gonna be more than, actually this is gonna take like a bunch of arguments. Please enter a red color, actually. Red color. I want to paste this like a bunch of times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4. A green color, a blue color, and an alpha value. Because that's not a color. So for args equals 1, less than 3, less than 4. Okay, why am I saying this? Because every time they press like space, they're gonna be sm set color and values like this. So each one of these is an argument. So yeah, that's why I'm saying get all these arguments. So we're gonna define a lot of strings here. String arg1 20. No, actually, what 20? 10. And I'm gonna copy and paste this. 2, 3, and 4. And for the 4th, I wanna like 1, 3, or 2, and I'm gonna modify this in a second. Okay, so get client. Whoa, what? Get cmd arg. Get cmd arg. You know what it does? It gets the argument 1, comma arg1, comma 10. I'm gonna change that. And we want to do this until we reach 4 arguments. And here we also want to change that. Are you getting this? I think it's kind of confusing. We want to say we're gonna get the color, right? But the color needs 4 arguments: a red, a green, a blue, and an alpha. So that's what we're getting here with the arguments. We want to get the red value, the green value, the blue value, and the alpha value. Once we get all these, we want to define all the args that are gonna, like all the variables that are gonna be storing this information that the user types. And here we're getting that information, and now we're gonna use it. So we're gonna say I'm gonna move that in a second, but yeah, you can type it. Here I'm gonna say new new red equals string to int arg1, and we're gonna do the same for the others. Green and blue and alpha, arg2, arg3, and arg4. If we check this command, or this this method, function, whatever, entity, branded color. If we check here, it says, like you can see that all of these are actually integers. So that's where we're changing the string that we input from the client, and then we're changing it into a integer here. So yeah, like I typed new here and then I typed commas because you don't have to, like, for each variable you don't have to define it in different lines. You can do all the defines in one line. Like, yeah, it's faster, it's easier, yeah, whatever. So here we're gonna say red, green, blue, alpha, and yeah, I'm actually gonna move this code, and we only wanna get all this information once we're in here. Yeah, this is just for like optimizing the plugin so it runs better, faster, smoother, whatever you want to call it. It's just for that, really not much need. So we want to reg the other command that's going to be called asm set color, and yeah, this is all I'm going to cover for today. Next week I'm going to do creating entities and setting the properties. So yeah, let's compile this and then see if it works. Scripting tutorial, compile, and we'll get no errors, so let me move the compile. I'm gonna actually BRB, gonna test this for you guys. So yeah, okay guys, so I'm in game and we actually have to fix something, but I'm gonna show you now that it works. So when you type here smkill entity, as you can see, it says you're not aiming at a prop because this is an NPC. Now if we were to spawn a prop here and then we did do the command again, then look at that, it gets deleted, just what we wanted. Now this is gonna be good because if someone wanted to delete a client, this wouldn't let them. So now let's check for this. Set color 255, it says please enter a green value, blue, and an alpha. And if we do that, as you can see, we get a different color on this entity. To restart to default, type 255 on all of these, and yeah, as you can see, it really works pretty good, pretty cool. I don't know what's the difference between 255 and here. I don't see any difference, but yeah, here's what you gotta change. You gotta add the comma false, because good, I cannot type. It says only clients, true to exclude all entities but clients. Like if the client is aiming at something that it's not a client, this is gonna fail. So that's why we want to set it to false, so it actually targets the client. So we want to set that here and also here, and then it's gonna work. So next week I'm gonna add the create entity and the properties. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Please subscribe. Oh yeah, we've reached 30 subscriptions, I forgot. So thanks for all the support, thanks for everything. Please keep subscribing, please keep liking the videos, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.